Hi everyone, my name's Pan and welcome to another edition of Bluebird Corner, the Cardiff City Fans podcast. Just to let you know, if you do subscribe, if you're a new subscriber between now and the end of July, you'll be in another draw for a £250 gift card, courtesy of our sponsors Top Tier Cleaning. It was a big success in our first month, so we're doing it again, and you can use that in a number of pubs and restaurants in South Wales. Simon Williams was the winner last month, so well done to Simon. So we're going to talk about Cardiff City signings, and Brian Barry Murphy obviously will be looking for a few different players in different positions. Looking at the squad, he wants a smallish squad, probably 24, 25 players, and we're going to be looking at which positions we really need new players. And tonight we're going to look at the goalkeeper. Now, we know Cardiff City fans will tell you that the two goalkeepers we got, Alnwick and Hovarth, haven't really set the world alight. Probably both of them, you're looking at no more than 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 for Hovarth. You know, good shot stopper, terrible with his the ball at his feet. But again, you know, someone like that, he may well be looking for a championship move, or championship clubs be looking for him to come in, maybe as number 2 or 3 at a Premier League club as well. So there's a possibility of one of those keepers going. I think Alnwick might stay. Young Turner obviously is number 3. So looking at the goalkeeper position, what I've spoken to reports from the Leicester Mercury the last couple of days, and the goalkeeper I wanted to talk about, who could actually come to Cardiff City in the next couple of weeks, is a goalkeeper we all know quite well in Wales. It's Danny Ward. Now, Danny Ward's been at Leicester City for over 7 years. He's going to be a free agent at the end of June. He's born in Wrexham. You probably remember he signed for Liverpool from Wrexham for initial 100,000 fee. He then had 3 loans at Morecambe, Aberdeen and Huddersfield before signing for Leicester in 2018 for an incredible 12.5 million. And his weekly salary has been at least 40,000 a week for the last 7 years, and he's banked an incredible £14 million. And the reason I mention that is, you know, I wanted to talk about the positives and sort of negatives in signing Danny Ward. You know, he's a Welsh international goalkeeper, as we know. He's played 44 times for Wales, but he's only actually made 101 appearances for 7 different clubs over 14 years. So that's really shocking. I mean, I appreciate, you know, obviously if he's signing for Leicester City in the Premier League, competing with Schmeichel and other fairly decent goalkeepers there, it's never going to be easy. But I just think, you know, going out on loan more often, you know, he should have been really playing a lot more games than he has. I mean, over 14 years, you know, what's that? You're sort of averaging, 7 games a year, you know, and that's a shocking stat. But you know, you would say he could be one of the luckiest goalkeepers or luckiest football players in Premier League history, you know, in terms of making only 7 appearances a year and banking that money. That's not his fault, as we know. But, you know, you could argue about his, or you could question his ambitions. Now, in terms of the fact that we all know he's Welsh, you know, and Welsh fans who've gone down to the Cardiff City Stadium, you know, most fans there rate Danny Ward. I mean, he's played pretty well for Wales. I mean, yes, Darlow, the Leeds keeper now, is probably number 1. But since Craig Bellamy's come in, they were rotating the keepers, and he hasn't really done anything wrong in the few games he played for Bellamy. But it seems to be Darlow's now number 1. So yeah, it is a player, I think, talking to the Leicester Mercury, that, you know, being out of contract, he's no way he's going to earn 40 grand a week. You know, it's crazy amount of money to be a reserve keeper. But, you know, now that he's out of contract at the end of June, we're probably looking at something around 8 to 10,000, which is really workable for Cardiff City, bearing in mind Hovarth's on a bit more. He's got, the positives are that he's got a lot of experience. And surely at League One level, Danny Ward would be a big asset. I think it'd be a great name for the Canton Ends fans. You know, obviously we had Gavin Ward, you know, and I think that would be a really good little song there behind the goal. But more importantly, I mean, there's no transfer fee involved. He's still young as a goalkeeper. I can't believe he's only 32. And you think, at this age, it'd be in his prime. And as I said, his salary would be a fraction what he was on. So I think it all depends on Danny Ward. There will be probably clubs that'll come in for him. Again, it just depends on, what kind of salary he'd expect. But as I said, talking to the reporter from the Leicester Mercury, that, I think he's at a stage now where he wants to be a first-team goalkeeper. It's not going to obviously happen in the Premier League. There could be a possibility of one or two Championship clubs who will come in from him. I've heard that obviously, Wrexham were interested in a competition for their keeper, and he is from Wrexham, so there's a possibility there. And obviously with Leeds and Sunderland going up, again, if he hasn't got that ambition, is he happy to be a backup keeper on 20 odd grand a week again? But, really, as I said, he's banked a hell of a lot of money. I'm sure he's got a burning ambition to be number one. He should be. And I think that he would be a good signing for Cardiff City. It's difficult to say, I've seen him for Wales quite a lot. And, he hasn't made that many mistakes. He had a disaster, obviously, when he got in the first team, I think when Schmeichel was injured for Leicester. And he played, a few first team games in a row. And, they were conceding 4 or 5 goals. I'm not saying they were all his errors. Some of them, were not his fault because of the defence, but it didn't work out for him. So I think Danny Ward at Cardiff City is someone to keep an eye out for in the transfer market. That could be a good signing for Cardiff City, especially League One. 32, good age for a keeper. He is a good shot stopper. There has been times, again, like Hovarth, that when the ball's at his feet, for Wales. Not overly confident. I don't think he's as vulnerable as Hovarth, who's sort of, you always sort of your hands over your eyes really every time he sort of touches the ball or gets the ball back and tries to pass it out. Whereas Alnwick obviously is much better with the ball at his feet. So yes, I think Danny Ward would be a good sign for Cardiff City. I think watch this space. Let's see what happens, but certainly one player I think that would definitely, the fans would say, it's a positive signing if it happens. And I think over the next few days, we'll be doing some podcasts over other potential signings that, looking at the fullback positions, defensive mid, attacking midfield as well. Obviously I think there's probably going to be 5-6 players coming in, a couple more players going out. So thanks for watching Bluebird Corner again, and we shall see you soon. Take care.